a project, a development project on Banning Ranch, we would hope that we could get back to that original staff recommendation of complete denial for one basic reason. This is a horrible project. It's huge. It is Banning Ranch is the last large piece of unprotected coastal open space left on the Southern California coast, and we are trying to protect it. We have been trying for 17 years to protect it, and it is our goal to continue that effort all the way through the process. Now, at the October hearing and in meetings we have had with commissioners and in comments we've heard, we hear about things that are frankly not part of the process that you should be considering or even discussing when it comes to Banning Ranch. Banning Ranch is a huge project. It's very complex, has a lot of different angles to it. The project has changed over the period of time. It's gotten a little smaller, thank goodness. There are some elements of it that are still there, though. First, it destroys wetlands. Second, which is against the Coastal Act. Second, it destroys vernal pools, again against the Coastal Act. Third, it destroys ESHA, yet again against the Coastal Act. And in order to accommodate development, the only way they can do it is to do those things, to take out wetlands and vernal pools and the ESHA that is really all over the site. And there have been changes made by staff, which I outlined last month to you, of changes in the interpretation of the law and changes in the science, because nature hasn't changed. You know, in a period of a few months, nature didn't drastically change and says, okay, I'm not having any more ESHA or wetlands or vernal pools on here. I'm going to get rid of all those so you can build. And nature didn't change. The only way that you can accommodate development is to change the science and to change the law. Unfortunately, as the Bolsa Chica decision pointed out to the commission years ago in 1999, when that commission tried to change the law, the Supreme Court of the state noted that the commission has no authority to re-legislate, to redefine, reinterpret, revise, or compromise the way the Coastal Act. So we would hope that that would be kept in mind as we move through. But as I said, there are a few things that's had a lot of discussion amongst commissioners that really have no place in the discussion. I'm going to talk about a couple of them the rest of the time I have here. One is if the property is not developed, what's going to happen? Well, our goal at Banning Ranch Conservancy is to buy the property, to remediate it, restore it, and then manage it long-term as permanent public open space and park, free to all people forever. To achieve that, we have to acquire it. Well, the commission seems to be overly concerned about whether we have the ability to acquire the property. One reason we don't have the ability to acquire it is because the developers think they're going to get a development from you, and they're not willing to sit down at a table and discuss negotiations until you tell them you're not getting that big honking development that is going to destroy ESHA and wetlands and vernal pool. Until you tell them that, they're not going to be willing to sit down at the table and discuss acquisition. Now, whether we have the money or not, whether they are a willing seller or not, none of that is frankly your concern and should not have any place in your discussion or your consideration of the project. Your only consideration should be, does this comply with the requirements of Chapter 3 of the Coastal Act? It shouldn't be, can the Banning Ranch Conservancy buy it, and if they buy it, are they going to have money to remediate it and restore it? That has nothing to do in your discussion whatsoever. It's only how it complies with the Coastal Act. Another thing that's been discussed is the balancing act, and maybe its applicability to Banning Ranch. The balancing provisions, or I know the staff likes to use a different term, conflict resolution provisions of the Coastal Act, state that if there's a public benefit, if the inherent use of the project is public benefit, then there can be some taking of ESHA and things like that. Well, the inherent use of this project has nothing to do with public benefit. It has to do with green stuff. It's money. Developers are going to build the project. They were going to sell it and make tons of money from it. That's the inherent use of the project. It is not for public benefit, no matter how they might try to frame it for you. So you cannot consider that in this debate at all. So with that, I will thank you for your time and your attention.